Hey, I'm Nicole. Welcome back to my channel, where today I'm doing some outfit planning and preparation for a DJ gig that I've got tomorrow night. In addition to all of the sewing and making and creative projects that I do, I also DJ on the side for a bit of fun. This gig I've got tomorrow night is a paid gig and it's at someone's house party. And now I am thinking about what I'm going to wear. I have got an outfit in mind that I think might be pitched around the right level. The trouser is going to involve some alteration, and that alteration has been on my to-do list for over a year now, and I think now might be the time. So let me show you what the outfit is that I have in mind, and we will go through and work on the alterations needed to get to our finished vision. Let's start with the first item I had in mind for this outfit, which is this pair of purple satin trousers that I got from a charity shop. It was on the clearance sale rail. I got this trouser for £1. It's, pretty cheaply made product. It's got no side seam. I think it was meant to be a pajama bottom, maybe. The tag on it says some sort of lingerie exclusive. And it is in a fairly cheap sort of acetate polyester type of fabric. But I do love the colour, and I just thought I could maybe luxe her up a bit. I think she could look a lot more expensive than she currently does. Now, although the trouser is a little bit shiny, it's not got enough shimmer and sparkle to carry the outfit by herself. So I thought we could pair her with this sequined cami that I also got in a charity shop in the Oxfam Superstore, actually, when I went there for an event a couple of years ago. So we've got this silver sequin cami, we have got our purple satin trouser, and as the finishing pièce de résistance, this rainbow fringed jacket of dreams. So that is the outfit vision and plan. Let's go in for the try on of the trouser first. We'll see what she looks like, and then we will see what tweaks we're going to make. Let's go in for the trouser try on. I've taken my jumper off so we can see the whole shape as it currently is. So we've got a good starting point. Again, the color is incredible. I love the fact that it's got a little bit of shimmer to the fabric, but I do think we could finesse the shape and make it look a bit more elegant. At the moment, it just looks a bit sort of baggy and nondescript. One of the first obvious things is that it is too long, so I will have to shorten it during the alteration as per. I have got that folded up now so we can sort of see what the shape of the leg is doing. Actually, I think the shape of the leg is actually okay. I think it looks all right. I quite like the shape. It's just gently tapered, which I like. I think that's one of the more flattering trouser shapes on me. The one thing I would like to do, in addition to shortening it, is to make the waistband deeper. I just find that a deeper waistband, particularly when it comes to elasticated waistbands, look a lot more luxe. The only other thing I might do, I don't know if I've got enough in the offcuts, maybe not. The only thing I might have attempted to do with the offcuts is make pockets. Now, this trouser actually has no side seam, so it wouldn't be a case of adding in inseam pockets on the side. It could be welt pockets. That would be a possibility, because welt pockets, you're just cutting into the fabric. And the good thing about welt pockets is I don't need the pocket bags to be in the same fabric. I could just cut any other satin fabric that I have, and all I would need is matching fabric for the welts, which I could easily get from the bottom offcuts. So maybe we do that. I think we'll just see how we go for time. I don't want to time crunch too much with this because obviously my gig is tomorrow night. So I think we just do the basic alterations to the waistband and to the length. If we get time at the end, we will put in some welt pockets into just here. Let's get into this waistband alteration first. As ever with any alteration, the first stage is to do a bit of deconstruction. The first thing I'm going to do is unpick this stitching that is currently holding the elastic channel in place. I think we keep this very, very simple. Once I've unpicked that, I am going to just keep the same construction as is currently done for the waistband, which is to just fold it across the top and turn it under and stitch it. But we will do that so that we get a wider channel. I've got this elastic here, which is 4mm wide. And I think that will be just about right. So we will be bringing this channel down to a place around here where we can feed this elastic into. But first things first, let's just go ahead and unpick the channel, get the old elastic out, and then we will deepen it and replace it with some new wider elastic. Okay, we've got the elastic out of the channel now. What I'm going to do next is press this flat. I am going to keep the initial first fold here on the waistband because we will reutilize that. We have got the top of the waistband pressed out now, so I just need to decide how much we're going to turn that back under by and stitch down. So I'm going to take my elastic and just use that as my guide. I'm going to stick to the same stitch line as we had on the bottom originally, and I think we will only have a tiny bit, a little hint of a paper bag waist at the top. I don't want it to be too exaggerated because I like to be able to tuck things in, and I found from experience that having a much bigger, longer paper bag waist makes it a bit trickier. I think that's probably about a good compromise there. So I'm just going to measure how much that is. Let's say 4 3/4 centimeters. We're going to turn this by and we're going to just press all the way along. We have got the new waistband channel pressed now, so let's take this to the machine. We are going to stitch the channel closed, apart from leaving one small gap, maybe in centre back, for us to thread the elastic through. We will also run a thin line of stitching around the top of the channel as well, and that will just hold the elastic nice and taut in there. I have now finished stitching the channel down here, and you can see I've just left a little gap to put the elastic in. But before I thread the elastic through, the next thing I'm going to do is just lay it on top so I can use that as my guide for stitching the little paper bag waist that we're going to do along the top. Let's go ahead and add the elastic into the channel now. I'm just going to fold it like that, get my safety pin, put it through the elastic, and then we're just going to go in through the gap at the back of the elastic channel waistband, and we're just going to feed the elastic all the way through. Now that we've got the other end of the elastic through the other side of the channel, I'm going to join the two ends of elastic. I'm going to do that by overlapping them singly like that, sewing a big rectangle all the way around, and then coming into an X shape in the middle of the rectangle. Now that we've got the elastic in, let's go ahead and close up the waistband channel now. Okay, we have the waistband done. I don't know what it's done to the shape of the trouser. I think because it's lifted the rise up a bit. I don't know if I like how the shape is looking now. I don't know if I'm just being nitpicky, but I feel like I liked it better when it was just sitting a tiny bit lower. Yeah, at the moment I feel like the shape was a little bit better before I did this alteration. Honestly, I did not expect this alteration job to spiral into so much drama. I think what I'm going to try and see how it looks is I have got this purple glitter elastic. I was wondering how it might look if I have that on the outside of the trouser. So I think what I'm going to do is just do a narrow hem just to finish off the top edge of the trouser. And then I am going to stretch this elastic and just top stitch it all the way around so that there's a little bit of a paper bag waist, but the elastic is kind of on the outside. I'm going to try that and see how it looks, I think. I have got the elastic pinned to the top of the trouser, so what I'm doing is just stretching it as I sew it along. I'm just trying to keep an even distance away from the top of the trouser. I've just got a very, very narrow zigzag stitch going. Yeah, I like how that's looking. So I'm just going to go ahead and stretch the elastic and stitch a few more rows into the elastic, probably just 1, 2, maybe 3 more rows. Here we go for day 2 of this trouser alteration. I had not anticipated spending quite so much time on this. There was a bit of chopping, changing, unpicking, redoing, changing strategy, and it ended up taking me all day just to get to a finished waistband. But the good news is I am happy with it. Apart from one tiny thing, which is I wish the elastic was a tiny bit tighter. Maybe it stretched out while I was sewing, but anyway, not going to lose sleep over that right now because fixing that would involve unpicking these 4 rows of stitching, and we're not going to do that, not today anyway. The other slightly unfortunate thing is that I have now gone off the idea of wearing this for my DJ gig tonight. I tried it on last night with the sequined vest. I'm not sure it's quite the vibe. I'm not sure about that as an outfit for tonight. I am going to finish this alteration just so it's done and it's not haunting me half finished on my rail, and also that I can wear it for other occasions. So we are going to finish the bottom hem, but we're not going to wear it tonight. Here we go for the latest try on. Sorry, the light is starting to get a little bit bright in here. Now, I do love how the waistband is looking. I love that little pop of glitter there in the elastic. Now that it's sitting a little bit lower in the crotch, for me, that is just perfect. I just think the proportions have come back and it doesn't feel so kind of like tight up here. So that is good. What I have been thinking about overnight is what we're going to do with the bottom hem. I have obviously got several options. I could just cut and hem it so it just hangs straight down like a trouser. I could make a cuff at the bottom. So at the moment I've just got it rolled up just while I'm trying it on, but I could create a cuff at the bottom, or the option I think I'm leaning towards is doing more of a jogger style around the bottom. So bringing it in with some wide-ish elastic at the bottom. There's something around the idea of having a pair of little satiny joggers, which I quite like. I quite like the idea of that sort of sportswear vibe, but in a slightly more shimmery, kind of luxy kind of fabric. So I think let's go for that for now. I think it'll just give it a little bit of a point of difference compared to it just being a straight across plain trouser. Oh, that's helpful. I just realized that in the previous clip, I had the trousers on back to front. I don't have the label stitched in yet, so it's hard to tell where is front and where is back. But anyway, this is what it actually looks like worn properly. I was looking at it on the camera like, why is that crotch looking much lower than it was last night? It's because I was wearing it front to back. Anyways, so here we are. So I have got the trouser folded up to what I think will be the finished length. So we will now just use that as our guide because the elastic is going to bring it in anyway. So we can afford to have it a little bit longer than if we were just cutting it straight across. So right, let's get on with the final bit of this project now. The first thing I need to do is determine how deep I want the cuffs to be on the bottom of the jogger. I think we go fairly deep. I think we maybe go as much as this 4 centimeter elastic. So we will need to make that channel, let's say 4.5 centimeters. Now I'm going to work out how much I need to cut the trouser down by. So we want to shorten it by 10 centimeters in total, which means this will be our finished hemline. We need to add back 4.5 centimeters, which will give us the turn of the cuff up. And then we need to add a seam allowance, which let's say that is 1 centimeter. We need to add back 5.5 centimeters to our finished hemline in order to get the allowance that we need to create the channel for the elastic. So I am going to make some markings, which has my measuring tape down here at 10 centimeters. And then my markings will be at the 5.5 centimeter line going all the way across. Now that I've made those markings, I'm going to go ahead and make the cut. What we're going to do now is take this to the ironing board. We are going to make our first press at 5.5 centimeters, and then we will make a second press at 1 centimeter away from the bottom edge. We've got the hem pressed up now. I am just going to do one final thing, which is make a little adjustment to the seam here, which you often have to do when you're taking up tapered trousers. The way to know whether your trouser is tapered or not is to fold it up along the hemline that you just pressed. Align it on one side, and for me it's easy because this side here I know is a straight line. When I look at the other side, I can see that the trouser is a little bit wider than where the bottom of the trouser hem would be. So to make that adjustment, what I'm going to do is from this point here where the folded hemline is, I am just going to take this seam and let it out a little bit. So I'm just going to run it so it goes towards the overlocking, and then I will unpick the original line of stitching, and that way when that's folded back up, that seam will now match more closely the line of the trouser. So I'm going to make that adjustment, and then I think I am actually going to abandon the idea of putting the elastic in the cuff. I think I will just go ahead and stitch it and hem it. I will always have the option to put elastic in at a later stage if I want to, because I just have to unpick a little bit, put the elastic through and then restitch it. But for now, in the interest of time and also just as a holding pattern, I will just do a straightforward hem. So let me make that adjustment now to this inseam, and then I will top stitch the hem closed. here we go for a final try on of the trousers. Not the most successful hem in history because the trousers actually quite severely tapered. So even with the adjustment that I made to the inseam, it still wasn't quite enough. So there's a little bit of bunching, but anyway, it's fine for now. I can always go back and fix it properly when I am ready to wear the trouser next. But for now, here is my revamped £1 charity shop trouser. I do love the waistband. I love that little detail of the elastic. Actually, having thought about it, I might have preferred to have the light side of the elastic up and the dark side down. That's gonna bug me now. Anyways, we are going to leave it there for today, and this will be a future me problem to sort out. Well, hi, future me here. Just leaving you a little update since I last filmed my project here. I've had further drama with the trouser. I took the entire elastic off, which involved unpicking 4 rows of this stitching. I made the elastic smaller and I restitched the entire thing, only to put the trouser on and realize that it looked better before. It was now too tight and it just made all of this, yeah, it was not good. So I unpicked that yet again. I restitched the original elastic. I took it in just a tiny, tiny bit, not too much. But the upside is I did manage to switch the colors around. So now the light side of the rainbow is up and the dark side is down, which is what I wanted. I also did a little adjustment to the bottom hem. Because it was quite a deep hem, I just pressed it up and made it into a little cuff. And then I just stitched in the ditch along the sides to hold it in place. The only thing is, I suspect that one of these trouser legs is not quite the same width as the other because this one looks a little bit more gathered almost into the cuff, whereas this one looks a bit more straight. It looks bloody awful, basically. And so she is going to need further work, which future me will be dealing with at some point. Anyways, I thought I would also let you know what I did end up wearing to my DJ gig, which was my Julia Clancy tinsel fringed dress of dreams. So that's what I wore. Well, that's it for this video. I ended up doing an alteration for an event that I did not end up needing the trousers for, but not wasted work. I'm sure I will end up using the trousers somewhere else and will integrate it into my wardrobe in time. I hope you found this video useful or insightful in some way. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.